Hello, Amanda here. Thanks for stopping by. And today's project's a little different. Instead of a layout or a card, I am actually turning a book into a card display. The one I'm showing now is I took a nursery book and folded the pages in half, and I use it for all of the cards and notes, and there's letters from my mother-in-law in there. So these are all Christmas cards, and so I needed another way to display them, not necessarily now, but at Christmas time. So as we've been unpacking boxes, my husband came across 3 of his engineering books from college, and he said, we were told to hold on to these, we'd be referring to them the rest of our lives, and he's like, I haven't looked at it once. So I was going through my stash because I knew that I had poinsettias in my cut folders. So I found the red ones, and then you saw the blue one up there. I didn't have any more of the white ones pre-cut, but I really liked the red. So I went through all of my old paper packs. After 15 years of being with Close to My Heart, I have, several paper packs that are older and not as many that are newer. So I went through and just pulled them out and then decided I would see what I liked. And this Yuletide Carol wins. Hands down, it matches with the poinsettias. It has some stickers if I want that. So all in all, I thought this was a really good choice. For me, the start of this project, besides gathering all the supplies, is I'm taking the sticky notes out of the book, and they've been in there for decades. And I'm going to just fold a couple pages here in the front, and then I'll do it again in the back. But I just want to kind of get a measurement for how much of the inside, front, and back cover I need to cover. And if you noticed, when I fold them, they don't necessarily always come at the same height, especially in the front. And you will not, or at least I don't see them later. So the first book I was a little more careful and went really slow and tried to make sure everything matched up. And this one, it's a 500-page book, so that's over 250 pages that I'm folding, and I just folded them. And so what I'm doing now is I forgot that this Yuletide Carol had a zip strip on it, and I was trying to find the right green. So I pulled out the topiary and the ponderosa pine, and neither one of those worked. So then I got out the New England ivy, and oh yeah, there's a zip strip on this paper. But if you have like one of these traditional paper packs or one of the other ones that I showed that don't have the zip strips, this is how I recommend finding a match, is actually putting the ink onto paper and looking at it, not necessarily holding it up to the ink pad itself. So now I'm just taking a brush and I'm starting off of the edge of the book and putting ink on it. And I'm just going to do the front cover, and then through the magic of video, I won't make you watch me do the back cover. But you'll see that it's kind of blotchy, but the more you blend it, the more it smooths out. And you don't actually end up seeing much of this at the end, but I was thinking about holding the papers in from the edges in the beginning, but that's not what I ended up doing. So now I have the papers, and I'm designing as I go. I have this folder. I have a lot of different things that if I've done a project, I would just cut the whole sheet on the Cricut and then make them all up at the same time, because they always get used later. So this is a photo container that's full of shaped leaves from previous projects. So I really liked kind of this neutral, because I thought, oh, we can really jazz it up. The green just seemed a little dark, especially since the book was also green, but I didn't know if I would want it for an accent or to cut a strip off of. And then I found this paper and I was like, okay, this is it. So I measure the inside of the book, and again, you don't have to go all the way to the edge. So I'm cutting it at 5.5 inches. And then I decided to go ahead and cut it in half at 6 and fill in the bottom, because then I could do half in the front, half in the back. And then I realized that the cardinal needs to be on the front cover and the music could be on the back cover, but I wanted to see that green strip along the side. So I pull it out a little bit and cut that down. And again, when you get done with a project, you don't see that one is narrower than the other side. So now I'm going to use that neutral tan color, kind of antiqued paper I'll call it antiqued, as my filler to fill in the rest of the height of the book for both the front and the back. And like I said, I'm kind of just designing as I go, seeing what works, trying to find a balance. There's music on both the front and the back. There's the antiqued diamond paper on the front and the back. So kind of give a balance. And now I'm just putting some of the green on the edges so that it helps the blend, so it's not such a sharp contrast. This is a book with older cards in it, and they have some date to them because some of these cards are, again, decades old because I've held on to them for that long. So now I've dry fit that, and the wreath from one of the card projects that we did, which I actually think was from the White Pines workshop, it wasn't necessarily the right color, so I used the blender brush and put ink on it to really make it a better color. And then these sprigs of Ponderosa pine, they kind of remind me of eucalyptus, and I've seen those in wreaths over Christmas. All of them were cut facing the same way, and I wanted to turn one over, so I inked it so that you didn't see the white cut marks from the Cricut. And now I'm going to shape the leaves, give them some dimension. So all I do is I basically pull from the tip of the leaf towards the center vein on the back side of the leaf. So whatever you want on top, I put it on my foam mat, and then I curl them so that they're all like upside down bowls. And I really just like how that looks. And when I glue them down, I actually glued down the whole vein, the whole center, and those little cups just really were nice. And again, I'm dry fitting here, seeing what I like, auditioning. I end up not using that wreath at all, and you'll see that here in a minute. So I needed to cut that down so that it wasn't going to be under the flap of the front. So I've glued down the bottom part, and I trying to highlight that bird, and then I pulled out a piece of the gold cardstock that I had from other projects, and I just used that punch and punched out these, they're like boughs. They kind of look like pine trees to me. And then, of course, the thread, bingo, there's some gold thread. So I'm winding that around, and my trick again is to just take a glue dot and sandwich the edges together so that it stays nice. Like I said, the hardest part of this for me is getting that glue dot off of the original plastic it came on. So you just tuck that down underneath the poinsettias, and I knew that this was going to be handled a lot at Christmas time. The one that I have with all year round cards has been handled a lot and looked at a lot by the family multiple times. So I have a feeling this one is too. So I just wanted to tack down some of those threads in a few places. So that's what I did there. And I also found gold washi tape. That's what's on the inside edge and between the two papers on the front cover. And in real life, it's not as bright of a contrast as the light's showing it now. It actually looks really nice. It's one of the things I like about Close to My Heart is their colors just work together. So I stuck some of the pine boughs in around the poinsettias, and I was going to put some up top, but I didn't like that look. So I'll come back to that later. I don't want to smash anything on the front, so I just put a Sharpie pen in there to give it some space. So there's the front and the back all together now. And then I'm going to show you how I just fold some of these pages and crease it crisply. You want a nice crisp fold with the bone folder. And it doesn't matter if you turn it to the left or the right. So if there's like an image, when I did the, that's what I'm showing now. If you want the formulas on the outside, you can. When I did the book of the nursery rhymes, sometimes there were color images, and so I wanted those showing. So I've jumped ahead and I'm just finishing the last ones, and to give it just that final crispness, I paw through about 5 to 7 pages at a time, and I'm just burnishing them down with the scraper from the Cricut. And again, it just kind of crisps that edge, and it's going to allow for more cards in your book without it being too terribly overstuffed. It doesn't take long to do this step. I really think it's an important step. Oh, I found a sticker in the upper left corner of the front cover from the sticker sheets, and I just added that plus some gold thread in there. And now I'm just showing you how this book is tall enough that I can do 2 cards side by side if I want. And I filled it up, and I left empty pages towards the covers so that you can get a sneak peek of all of that work that we did on the inside covers. And then you can move these how you want. This has room for hundreds of more cards. This is how you would see it from the side. And it just sits flat on any kind of shelf. So there's the front cover, and you can see the thread on the top. There is thread around the bird, which you saw me glue down. And then here's the back cover, and that's how I decided to do that. Just 2 areas of poinsettias and leaves. If you liked what you see today, give me a thumbs up. If you don't want to miss any of my projects, remember to subscribe. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks.